And blessings, family. Sister Anjali, I hope you're feeling fantastic. That is your nature as a black person. Now, I hope this won't be too long, but it might be. So I entreat you to watch the entire share. I entreat you to go avail yourself of the amazing healing products on 25,000yearcycle.org, because you will not find anybody else anywhere, I wish it were the case, on the entire planet sharing what I share with Black Us. And I need your help so I can test our food for radiation. The more I read, the more I know. Bingo! Somehow or another, through the, just way that Allah works, I have hit upon the mother lode of how they plan on genociding us. And that involves the Sussexes. Now, let me all set it up. We all know about Princess Diana. First off, we all know that the royals aren't really the royals. But that goes all the way back in history, and I want this to be as quick as possible. But if you are not a sycophant for whiteism, and you've done research, or you've even heard vague rumors, you know what the heck went on in that tunnel with, was it Dodi, Fayad, or whatever the heck. I only study these people, but so much, but enough that I know certain details where the ambulance kind of lingered a little bit too long just to make certain, and wasn't no life possible coming from that woman who was turned into a corpse. I don't gloat over that. I just, it's white folks, right? And so this family has a history of just through ancient times when they want to play that Game of Thrones, heads will roll. There's quite convincing evidence that Edward VIII, who married the American divorcee Wallis Simpson, that he murdered the sitting king so that he could take over and do things the way he wanted to. It's just, it's so crazy complicated. But I just want to put it out there that assassinating their own is par for the course. They know how, that smile. And our just desperation, our Stockholm Syndrome desperation for these people to accept us makes too many of us absolutely sitting ducks for not just a perpetuation of the oppression, but right now the oppression is tipped over to just wanting to wipe us out. Now that all of that is out there, let's keep it going. Oh, it's so annoying to say that. It's so annoying to pay any attention to them. But I realize that, here's this article. Prince Harry lands back in California. After spending just 3 nights in Britain for phone hacking case, Duke stayed in Frogmore Cottage before making dash home to Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet without seeing King Charles or William. They've been really just, tar and feathering the Sussexes. It's great to see. I'm not upset. And as far as just simply the history of it, Meghan is not black. She's biracial. She doesn't even describe herself as black. But as biracials are used against Black Us, she is black enough to be the method of making the royals look like they're not amongst the most racist. They're all German. They are all on board for Hitler, but they play these games, and they are using her because they took such a dive with all the speculation concerning them murdering Diana. And I said, that's what has been reported. I can't accuse anybody of anything. But all I know is those missing children from Canada are still missing. And so they had to really come up with a method of just keeping the farce up about who they are. That's why all these shows are out, specials are out, going over their lives in order to portray them as really just so human. And now they get to make Prince William and Kate look like they're just so fabulous. But that's the way that now they can make it seem like they're just so wonderful. Oh my goodness. And they can make it seem like they're, resurrected in everyone's respect. And they did a bait and switch where Meghan and Harry get to look like they're whipping boys and girl. And thereby, I'm sure folks out there are like, oh, can you see how racist it is? Yes, it is racist, but it's far more calculated. And with Meghan, they've been doing specific things to garner the, dumb faith of swirlers. I'm talking about the black women specifically, by her Archetypes podcast that just got canceled because both of them have been called grifters by a number of people. I don't give a damn. I'm not here to defend them. And she's a vile human being. She knew what she was signing up for, but I don't think she knew all the way through. Because California, as I've highlighted before, that sucker was hammered with radiation. This is just 1 month where the hottest isotopes went blam. This stuff doesn't go away. It doesn't just, disappear. That's why, and it went on up to Canada. That's why you saw, as all them fires started at the same time, the same orange skies when the fires started on the West Coast happened here on the East Coast and up in Canada, where the wildlife was choking to death in the places that were the most saturated. Ain't no daggone pollution of any kind ever cause orange skies, because radiation is dynamic on a one atom basis. When its pollution is giant mega chains of molecular unwieldiness that you're dealing with. So that is why this is a thoroughly different can of deathly genocidal worms. Regular pollution is awful. It's awful. But it's because it's unwieldy, those molecules stay localized. They don't tend to go airborne, taking certain chemicals, but they hover in the same territories. They don't just lighter than some particles of air itself lift up into the sky and get blown everywhere. And make no mistake about it, the royal family owns more uranium mines on this planet than I do believe just about anybody else. And they know what that stuff is used for. You don't invest in uranium and you're clueless about the details surrounding it. So they've got their children in the midst of all of this. You cannot have a clue about what's going on, and you're in the middle of all of this. But don't worry, we're going to go over just how gullible white people are for white people. For these dudes to be in California, that gives a perception that everything there just fine. But I want to highlight how precise I've been for a very long time. I'm not bragging. This is the science. Anybody could have did what I did if you are curious about science. This is an article I wrote back in April 12th, 2014 at 5:47 p.m. They even have the time. where I was going over the exodus from California while they're trying to steadily talk us into staying there. Ooh, let me highlight this. I just randomly typed in $5 million in reparations. And what do you think comes up? Boston, Massachusetts? All the places that actually engaged in chattel slavery with our ancestors? No, the place that had racism, massive racism, and now they got massive radiological contamination. But they didn't have chattel slavery. Yet when you look at all the folks coming up, all you see is California, San Francisco. They're going to have to spread this out. So it's many different places because that's the way they handle radiological contamination. That's why they had to burn it eventually on the East Coast, because they know all that radiation was going to turn the living creatures in the Canadian forest massively mutated, like this cow that is in China. And it's just a deluge. I can't even show you all the photos of the mutations. I'm just saying, the stuff is gone everywhere. And they know it. This is from the International Atomic Energy Agency. This is another one where, look at the Pacific. Look at the Pacific. Whoa, look right where Japan is, okay? So this stuff is going everywhere. They know it. But in those places where there was massive quantities from Fukushima, that's where you saw them orange skies. Ain't no pollution that's ever caused orange skies. And so that's why they want to get us on out there with $5 million. It's like, a freaking movie or something about a comical villain. And you could ask, well, I could understand why they go after Meghan, but why Harry? There are also rumors that he is a love child, because Diana was just so upset and frustrated with the whole Camilla thing she kind of went to somebody who actually had some sympathy for her. I'm just saying, they don't mind. Dude, red hair, ain't no red haired people coming from Charles, okay? I'm just saying, they don't mind. They do that to their own. So back in 2014, I wrote the starfish have wasting disease, and the stars have got get out of radioactive Hollywood disease. This, I'll put a link to it so you can read it yourself, but it's a quote from a real estate broker who was saying, in my 10 years of being a real estate agent in LA, I have never seen an exodus like this one. Maps of stars homes have now become maps of stars homes for sale. Everyone is bailing out of Los Angeles this month, drastically reducing their mansions by millions of dollars, taking enormous losses, and are desperate to sell ASAP. And then here's the list of the stars who were just like, I'm out of here, okay? Oh my goodness, does it go on long and plentifully? This was before the massive increase in homelessness, so that you got this line up here where it's reparations to black us, and it's only on the West Coast. Come on now, really? They're gonna, California, I understand, is absolutely stunning, and they're gonna just give that up to some homeless people? Because I knew it was gonna happen back in 2014. Now they got the big corporations leaving. Because now here's the thing, you may think, oh, but don't all the white people know? No, they don't. They are incredibly ignorant. I was listening to an audio book that was like Newt Gingrich wrote the introduction, so you know what it was about. I couldn't even get through the whole thing. But the way that they were laying out the data, and it was supposed to be a realistic depiction of what happens if an high atmosphere nuclear EMP blast took off. And the jingoism throughout this story that Newt Gingrich, which put it out as if it was, this is a great story, was so filled with lies and flattery that common white people, they suck that stuff up like nobody's business. And then the instigation that, America is just so free, it's just so wonderful. How come it ain't telling you the damn truth about Fukushima? How come they're not just coming right out? How come all these individual private airplanes that are crashing with their rich families right on in there, getting incinerated, how come they're not coming out and just telling facts, right? I have read so many books from even that just state how common white folks are saying, and by white folks I mean in the military, they're like wondering, they're going to Dr. Sternglass, or at least they did while he was alive, saying, my family means everything to me. I want to know what's going on. And so they don't tell their own what the hell's up. They're following the commands of Gunnar Myrdal, who was hired by the United States government to figure out a way to kill all of black us without making individual white people feel like they are devils. Right? So that's why one reason why I'm like, individual white people, no, please don't go out with your little pea shooters and just try to take them out, because they have a right to know too. What they do after they have that knowledge, well, we know almost to the man, woman, and child. They ain't coming to help us, okay? I'm just saying, we got to help each other. You got to listen to the data, even if you don't like me. I don't give a damn, and neither does the radiation. You hear me? Right? And so San Francisco exodus, that's what I was talking about. That's what that real estate agent was talking about. AT&T closing flagship store, citing changing consumer habits. No, it's just a disguised evacuation like they had at Chernobyl. Well, barely had at Chernobyl because they wanted to disguise the horrors of man-made radiation. They had to rig an entire narrative in order to get clueless, even the rich clueless, especially as the fires were to get the rich folks, because they were only happening in rich areas pretty much, to get them the hell out of there. And then to try to coax as many of us to go on over there, using the Sussexes, using the reparations, when monetary reparations ain't going to do a damn thing for us. It ain't nothing but a bribe to get us to go on over there. Race on over there, as a matter of fact. I mean, here's my bookmark, starting from the most recent down here. Hollywood stars who fled California due to high taxes and surging crime rates. Oh, no, that wasn't the case at all, okay? It's a disgrace. Gavin Newsom admits California's homeless situation is out of control. What? You mean with the people who just took over whole continents and genocided whoever got in their way? Hell no, that's no problem. San Francisco dying downtown hits again as Westfield stops making mortgage payments on its mall. San Francisco's hotel industry is being squeezed by crime and homelessness, driving convention away. Let's see, that was like all of last month. Let's see if I can scroll this up here. Let's see when the first one that I have here got started. The exodus begins. Joe Rogan is leaving LA for Texas because he wants a little bit more freedom. He didn't say anything about the taxes, but July 26, 2020. And but it just goes on and on and on. There's one where I forget which useless celebrity was. Oh, Mark Wahlberg. Reveals he left LA and 90 million home to move family to Nevada to give kids a better life. He soon changed that. I think now the narrative is he wants to start a new Hollywood over there. There we go. Oh, there we go. Mark Wahlberg sells lavish Beverly Hills estate for $55 million, $25 million below original asking price, just like that real estate agent said. There, yet another chain store shutters in crime-ridden San Francisco. And this is the one. Mark Wahlberg wants to create Hollywood 2.0 in Nevada, away from woke California. So in the span of a year or two, it went from wanting to just live someplace where the air is fresher to, oh, that woke crime-ridden California. You think somebody is putting together a Potemkin village? This is what they do. I'm so glad I found this link again, which showcases a copy of what is reported to be a military manual, and the way it's written is decidedly military. It reminds me very much of how they say that the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion is a forgery. They don't say it's fake. They say it's a forgery, and they found that in, I believe, a Swiss court, that it's a forgery. Forgery means that it is a copy of the original. Okay, so Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, an introductory programming manual, is one hellified, just scary, crazy stuff. I mean, I will give you a link to the website, but it's a little bit tricky finding the actual text so that you can read it. But whoa, this is what they're doing. This is part of the manual. Diversion summary. Media, keep the adult public diverted away from the real social issues and captivated by matters of no real importance. How you going to tell me that's not true, okay? Schools, keep the young public ignorant of real mathematics, real economics, real law, and real history. When did they come out with that friggin' stupid math that had all of these like circuitous ways to just add up 2 + 2 = 4? That was absolutely insane, and everybody complained about it. That's on purpose. Entertainment, keep the public entertainment below a 6th grade level. I've given up all entertainment pretty much, not because it just generally has always been pablum. That I noticed from early on childhood. I don't know how anybody or most people were just like going, oh, the Black Panther movie is so fantastic. As soon as I went to the theater and saw it, I was like, oh my God. And I noticed the programming right off the bat. The newest one, Dr. Z watched it all the way to the end to see the two sexually hyper confused folks holding hands, walking through the city. And Black Panther ain't even there. No man in charge was there. That's on purpose, okay? Work. Keep the public busy, busy, busy with no time to think, back on the farm with the other animals. That's, cows. That's in one of those pamphlets that I mentioned earlier that I probably can't even say which one, because these people are restricting freedom for the common good. Irish Green Party calls for limiting free speech. They just started in one little place and then they normalize it so they could spread it out as far and wide as possible. And so with this one, they're calling for restricting using the word genocide because it's being overused when it's in action. And just because we're distracted to the point where we don't pay attention to the only platform giving you the data, not my opinion. I got my opinion interspersed, but when it comes with the facts, it's conclusions, it's deductions, it's scientifically based. Right? And so genocide is apropos, and that's one of the things that I've also been reading about. These are serious accusations. When you have a whole society pivoted on killing you, treating you as if they gave birth to you, that is a huge accusation. It doesn't matter who it comes from. It is something that must be addressed, which it never will in their lying media, including Zero Hedge, which is a complete nuclear shill site. They've never seen a radioactive isotope that they didn't want to hug and lick up on. And they're even threatening the guys who are heads of these organizations, probably because, as I read in Behind the Fog, they have a policy where the chain of command, very few people, the further down you go, have any in-depth knowledge about radiation, and they use obscuring terms to describe it, such as forever chemicals. In the meantime, you have warning labels on seaweed in California, and their Essence magazine is peddling radiation CMOS. They may not even know. They're peddling CMOS. When do they give a damn about our health? So, yeah, I've been sharing this just for the longest time, and the message hasn't changed. I haven't changed. Family, please share this information far and wide. It's charity better than anything, any organization or famous person who hugs some child in Africa while knowing that millions who have little wherewithal to move, knowing they're going to die. It's better than any soulless rich demons can ever give, because truth isn't in them if they're not going to save the people who made them. And don't make me go over the far longer list of their young deaths and woefully. I mean, look, I could go and keep on going and keep on going. It's just crazy, okay? And then woefully, ours is a brother who he just transitioned, and I watched the video of him just collapsing, free fall on the stage. He was holding a mic and he was down. You think I'm kidding? Ain't no daggone jabadoo killing all these species out here, right? I started that article out on Facebook with the starfish wasting disease. Once you kill a whole species, they ain't coming back. So come on over to 25,000 year cycle. I mean, the more I learn, the more I know. This site is vital for us to survive everything that got coming. Why do you think they hide this radiation? Because there's cures, and being healthy is the primary one, but you got to know how to do that. Most of us, we don't know. And then you're going to find products here, my soap. Oh my goodness, it just go on and on and on. You can scroll through all of them, and my Dr. Z, I have to remember that brother, he's for real. He put a whole link up here, Ajali Shabazz, where you can go and find my specific products one after another, including my wonderful books. And this one right here, Furnace of Affliction. This has got the guidance so that you can protect yourself and your family. This is for the children, okay? It's that simple. Go Assist, the only platform that is telling you what they are working overtime to make you think is of no significance. How's that possible? Peace and blessings. I love your family. Straight Black family pride. And we have the best chance of forever.